If you clicked on this video, then you know exactly why I had to do this. For those who don't, I covered the story in detail in a previous chapter, mainly why the Alox Mini Champ is flawed. Although it packs an impressive toolset for its size, unfortunately half of them are quite redundant, at least for my needs. This is further amplified by the fact that it's been over a decade now since a factory Alox Rambler was offered, and even those were a limited sprint run via Swiss Bianco, so if you want one now, the prices are quite absurd. Thus, for those who love the Rambler 58mm family with all of its variants, myself included, as in a Midnight Manager was my most EDC'd Swiss Army knife, but you still want the Alox scales, well, you are basically left with two options. You either pay someone to mod it for you, which is also quite expensive, at least for me in the UK, or you make it your own. So this video will cover my journey. My objective was simple, to make the classic Alox Rambler without spending too much. As a welcome backup, I bought another Midnight Manager which was luckily on offer, just in case my project fails. I concluded that the best course of action was to modify my Alox Mini Champ since it already had all the tools to make the Alox Rambler. Furthermore, I will be removing tools, which means that I can reuse the stock brass rods. But if you want to buy them separately, they are 1.5mm thick and I will link them below in the description. As for tools, you will need a drill, ideally with a 1.5mm center metal drill bit, but I used the standard 2mm one since that's what I had. Pliers, some metal files, a punch, masking tape, a hammer, ideally a pinning one, zip ties, some WD-40 and a wood surface. I used this cheese board. Basically, you need to drill very carefully one side of the brass rods without damaging the aluminium scales. I started on the rear side to protect at least the prettier front side where the logo resides. Use the punch to make a pilot hole as center placed as you can, and then just drill until you can push the pins out. Luckily, brass is quite soft, so it doesn't take too much effort. Be careful when ejecting the pins though, since the internal springs will become projectiles if you open it all at once. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff inside the Mini Champ. This was day 1. The next day, with fresh eyes, let's inspect the damage. So the front main scales with its factory pinning are safe, whereas the rear scales display some extra wear since it's so hard to drill perfectly straight without exact tools. Overall, I'm quite happy, just this hole took one for the team. I'll be using one of the two internal thin layers, so this scratched one I can put to the side. Looking at the cheese board, I'm going to reuse the tools on the left alongside 6 of those internal back springs. Mask the main scale to protect it and to keep the brass pins from sliding out. Using the manager as a blueprint, since orientation is critical for the tools in correlation with the keychain ring, as in you want the main blade to open opposite to the keychain ring. Again, why the Rambler is EDC perfection in terms of tools and functionality. Install the back spring, which has the keychain attachment like so. Then the opposite one and use the pliers to make it snap into place after we attach the combo tool. The scissors and the combo tool require 2 back springs each, so this is why you need zip ties to keep everything into place, otherwise a mental breakdown will occur when you try to install the next layer. Needle nose pliers save the day to realign the brass rods, and then just cut the zip ties as you push the layer all the way down. Now those are one of the best sounds I heard all morning. Luckily this was the hard part of the installation process, since the last tools are only 1 layer thick. It's time to file down the rods to make sure that they will glide easily into the rear Alox scales. That's it for the main installation really, and I can't believe I'm holding a working homemade Alox Rambler. But we are not done, we have to secure the brass pins via pinning. If you have some quality wire cutters or a Dremel, then proceed to cut the excess length of the rods, making sure you leave around 1/2 mil. I had to file them down by hand.
2,000 years later.
Finally, the pinning process. You need to create a mushroom profile to secure the rods. Masking tape, any metal surface as a counter, and the hammer are your best friends here. Again, for factory results you need a special hammer, which I plan to buy for my next project. And may I present to you my Alox Rambler. Beside that corner hole, which is visible from an angle, I can't believe I made it on my first try. Everything works as expected with a satisfying snap to all the tools. And here is the final visual cue to why I made this. Basically half of the width of a Midnight Manager. I love them both, but the Alox Rambler is now extra special to me. As you can imagine, this opens a whole new perspective for me, because if I want a specific model or a crazy made up one as some others do on YouTube, well, I might just build it myself. Thanks for watching, and who else went the custom route?